Greetings, beloved souls. Today, we delve into a profound mystery, a tragedy woven into the fabric of creation. Before evil came into existence, long before the first humans set foot on earth, infinite goodness reigned in the heavens. Everything was perfect. Every angel radiated an immense light and felt deep reverence for their Father, the Creator of all. But among all the angels, one stood out above all others: Lucifer. You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Lucifer was the most intelligent, the most powerful, and the greatest in honor and dignity in the heavens. Everyone admired him. Lucifer was God's most beautiful creation, his masterpiece. He was the first being God sculpted with his mighty hand, the very first creation of all, and God delighted in making him his masterpiece. He granted Lucifer power like no other angel. Lucifer possessed the greatest intelligence, second only to God. But not everything could be perfect about him. You were blameless in your ways, till wickedness was found in you. And so, Lucifer became the source of all evil and suffering in the world. He became the prince of darkness, the corrupter of souls, the lord of destruction. He became Satan. Fall left a scar in heaven. Though light returned, it was never the same. Like a broken mirror, paradise would forever remember the betrayal. Lucifer's story is a warning that even the brightest star can fall into darkness. But how did we get here? What happened? Why? What was once an ocean of peace become the seed of evil? The heavens before the tragedy. Before the tragedy, Lucifer was a being crafted to the measure of perfection. You were anointed as a guardian cherub. You were on the holy mount of God. You walked among the fiery stones. Heaven is a realm of perfect order, a divine structure. Where each angel has a mission and a purpose to fulfill. At the highest level are the seraphim. They are like living flames, burning with love and purity. They sing without rest. Holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. Next are the cherubim. These are guardians of divine wisdom and protectors of the universe's secrets. They are the shield that repels any shadow of impurity. In the orders closest to earth are the archangels and angels. Archangels, like Michael and Gabriel, are messengers of decisive moments, warriors who carry the divine message on their swords. And finally, the angels closest to humanity. They are the guardians of souls, accompanying us on our journey, ensuring evil doesn't draw near. In this perfect order, God wanted to create something extraordinary. From his infinite wisdom and love, he created Lucifer, the morning star. You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Lucifer wasn't just beautiful, he was the leader, the beacon. Other angels followed. His charisma was magnetic, and his presence inspired respect and devotion. He walked among the angels with unparalleled grace. Seraphim and cherubim listened intently to his words, and even Michael, the great warrior, admired his wisdom. Lucifer organized the heavenly choirs, directing praises to the Creator with fervor and passion. His voice was like a flame in the darkness, radiance guiding them in their songs and prayers. God hadn't created evil, but something perfect. Yet Lucifer, blinded by his own brilliance, let pride grow in his heart. His desire for glory consumed him like a hidden fire. It slowly destroyed him. The Bible tells us how his fall began. Your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendor. What was once his gift became his downfall. The beauty all admired turned into the source of his ruin, and the wisdom that inspired others became the weapon of his self-destruction. Pride consumed him. He wanted to ascend beyond his place, to raise his throne above God's stars in his heart. He said, "I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God." And then the heavens shook. Rebellion erupted, and peace shattered like a fragile glass. Jesus himself, in a chilling testimony, said, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." In an instant, Lucifer was cast into the abyss, banished from the light. That had been his home, his glory faded, and his splendor was buried. In darkness, the morning star was cut down, the bright celestial body extinguished. But how could this happen? Lucifer. And the Holy Scriptures, though Lucifer's influence is immense, he is seldom mentioned in sacred texts. Why does a being with such worldly impact appear so little? Before discussing Lucifer's great celestial rebellion, this must be understood. In Scripture, Lucifer's character remains an enigma. He's spoken of only in fragments. The Bible mentions his story in scattered passages written in symbolic language. Thus, this video is based on the Bible, but also on additional sources. Primarily, the book History of the Angelic World by Father Jose Antonio. 4T. Also on texts by St. Augustine, where Lucifer represents the desire to rise above his creator. Augustine notes that Lucifer, blinded by his own light, sought to equal God, and was exiled, leaving an eternal lesson. Now, let's see how Lucifer's soul began to corrupt. Lucifer's descent into darkness. At first, it was a barely perceptible spark, a fleeting thought. Lucifer wondered to himself, what if my light could shine brighter? What if my glory didn't always need to serve another? These were small questions, almost invisible, but like seeds, they took root and grew in the silence of his thoughts. He began to imagine himself on high, on the throne, being praised, and with each duty he performed, that voice inside grew stronger. Meanwhile, heaven remained in perfect harmony, though something in Lucifer became more distant. Each day, the angels began to notice his change. He became introspective, enigmatic. Gabriel approached him one day. He said, "Lucifer, brother, what burden weighs on your heart? Your light grows restless." Lucifer looked at him and replied, "There are things even we cannot understand, dear Gabriel." Gabriel felt a chill, an unease, but Lucifer averted his gaze, avoiding any other word that might reveal the storm. Growing within him, day by day, Lucifer began to neglect his duties. His voice, once leader of the heavenly choir, grew silent. The other angels felt his absence, as if a star were missing from the firmament. In praise gatherings, where he once stood first, he now attended half-heartedly, gazing upward with a mix of pride and resentment. Heaven had clear rules, but no chains. God had given each angel the freedom to love and serve. In their perfection, they also possessed the gift of free will, and so, as Lucifer wrestled between his light and shadow, the angels around him began to sense something strange. The tension of his choice. Some, dazzled by his greatness, started to listen to his voice with new ears, following him silently, as if his light could lead them to another destiny. One of the cherubim, noticing his change, approached him once and asked, "Lucifer, do you no longer find joy in singing?" Lucifer replied with a cold smile, "I've found other pursuits. Perhaps there's something beyond what we've known." Then the morning star made his decision. The spark within him became a flame, and the flame a fire. "I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High." That night his radiance changed, no longer the light of praise, but the blaze of ambition. Paradise, so perfect, so full of peace, felt the first tremor of rebellion. His name, meaning Ligeage, Tbringer, was no empty title. He was heaven's beacon, the morning star that rose first, illuminating others. In creation's night, every angel listened to his words with devotion, for Lucifer spoke of God like no one else had. Angels were no innocent souls, they were wise, strong. Each a reflection of God's purity. Yet Lucifer drew them in, not with weak lies or empty promises, but with his charisma and unshakable authority. He didn't seek to deceive the angels like a liar. He spoke with passion, with a vision so compelling that many followed, seeing in him a new light, like a shooting star, briefly illuminating the sky. Lucifer gave the impression of being a brilliant and unique leader, worthy of following. His goodness, his authority, his respect, his influence were all well deserved. If we understood how this masterpiece of God truly was, we'd grasp why God himself praised his own work in the book of Job. Even his sin hasn't destroyed God's work. Even in his sin, he remained strong. The divine warning to Lucifer: God called him alone. Amid sacred silence, his voice, like a deep river, addressed Lucifer with love and patience. Lucifer, my son, the seal of perfection, I sense your thoughts straying from me. In your heart, ideas are growing that separate you from the eternal. Lucifer, with a serene glow, looked at the Creator and replied, Father, didn't you create me to understand and explore? There's nothing I desire more than to comprehend the depth of your work. Do you think that's wrong? God's sadness was profound, though contained. His heart, immense and patient, understood the fragility of the freedom he had given. He knew that seeds of pride could germinate, even in the purest soil. Lucifer, God continued gently, your desire to understand is noble, but your thoughts are becoming self-centered. You've been seduced by the light I placed within you. You forget that this light is a reflection of my love, not your own source. Lucifer lowered his gaze, but inside, a fire of incomprehension and pride began to burn. My Lord, I have wanted nothing that isn't yours. My light is the gift you gave me. How could I turn away from you if I was made by your own will? God looked at him. With eyes of infinite tenderness, he knew that deep down, Lucifer was beginning to perceive the beauty of his own glory. As an end in itself, he hadn't sinned yet, but his love was cooling. God, full of mercy, extended his hand towards him. Son, remember where all light comes from. Don't let your heart be shrouded in shadows. If you turn to me, your splendor will grow in truth, and together we will be even greater than any solitary thought. But Lucifer, instead of feeling peace, felt a sting to his pride. It was a discomfort he could barely understand, but it was there. Didn't God trust his ability to remain faithful? Why so many warnings? He withdrew with a bow, but inside, an invisible distance was growing. As the days passed, his desire to understand and explore continued to absorb his attention. He no longer paused to contemplate God. With the same devotion, the angels still worshipped him, and his voice still led the choirs, but his heart was divided. Once again, God called him, Lucifer, I have seen the path you're taking, and it pains me to see you like this. Your light is turning to shadow. There's still time, my son. If you return, the love within you will bloom anew. But this time, Lucifer refused to listen. His hardened heart sought only self-satisfaction and personal glory in his mind. He began to justify his thoughts. Don't I deserve more? God, in his infinite patience, let him go. He knew he had given all the love and mercy possible. I will not turn away from you, God said in a final warning, but you are free to choose. God gives Lucifer a second chance. God's sorrow was immense, an ancient and painful sadness. He knew he would lose his most beautiful creation. His mercy was infinite, but Lucifer's choice had to be respected. Even in his fall, I will love him, the Creator thought. As Lucifer drifted away, all of heaven seemed to hold its breath. Soon, a great revelation would come to heaven, testing every celestial being, especially Lucifer. God, in his infinite wisdom, delayed that moment. He wanted to give Lucifer time to prepare, to grow in humility, to strengthen the loyalty in his heart. He spoke to him with a voice full of love and concern. My son, he said tenderly, a great revelation approaches, and when it comes, the wind will be strong. The tensions in your heart will be intense, like a storm tearing through the sky. You must prepare yourself. Root yourself in obedience, for the test will be great. Lucifer listened sincerely. He knelt before God, gazing at him with devotion, and his voice, soft yet firm, arose from the depths of his being. Father, whatever the test may be, I desire to obey your commands. I cannot promise I'll be perfectly faithful, but I swear my desire is to be loyal. My heart still burns with your love. These words were not lies. Lucifer spoke from the depths of his heart, and in his soul burned a genuine desire to remain loyal. Yet at the same time, in a dark corner of his mind, the seed of pride continued to grow. He felt that he, among all angels, was special, unique. Double quotes, "Am I not the one who shines most brightly?" he thought silently. God, in his patience, gave him another chance. Once again he postponed the revelation, allowing Lucifer more time, more space, to draw near, to seek humility in his heart. Lucifer, this test will not be easy. Even when it seems the wind carries you away, you must remember your origin, your essence. You must remember that all light comes from me. Lucifer's temptation was like the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. A choice between obedience and perceived autonomy, a subtle whisper suggesting something more beyond what was given. God saw the struggle. He saw the internal war raging within his most beautiful creation. He understood the allure of self-exaltation, the seductive whisper of, "I will be like the Most High." The revelation finally came. It was a divine decree, a new creation. Humanity, made in the image of God, a special place in God's heart was given to these new beings. A position of honor that even the angels, in their perfection, did not fully comprehend. And the command was given that all angels, including Lucifer, were to bow down to this new creation. This was the ultimate test. For Lucifer to humble himself before something seemingly less than himself, before beings made of dust, but imbued with the very essence of God's likeness. Lucifer's pride, which had been simmering, now erupted. How could he heed the seal of perfection, the most beautiful, the most intelligent, bow down to these fragile new creations? His heart, once filled with love and praise, now burned with resentment and defiance. "I will not serve," he declared. And with that declaration, the rebellion began. A third of the angels, dazzled by Lucifer's charisma, and swayed by his powerful arguments, joined him. They too chose pride over obedience. They chose self-will over divine harmony. The heavens, once filled with perfect peace, were torn by conflict. Michael the archangel stepped forward, leading the loyal forces of God. A cosmic battle ensued, not with physical weapons, but with spiritual might, with the power of wills and the clash of intentions. The outcome, though seemingly dramatic, was ordained. Light cannot truly contend with darkness. When darkness chooses separation from its source, Lucifer and his followers were cast out from the presence of God, from the glory of heaven. Their light, once radiant, became dim, their perfection marred, their beauty twisted. They became the fallen, the demons, and Lucifer became Satan, the adversary, the accuser, the father of lies. His purpose became to oppose God's will, to corrupt God's creation, to sow discord and suffering in the world of humanity. This is why evil exists. Not because God created it directly, but because he gave the gift of free will, even to his most exalted creation, and that gift, in the heart of Lucifer, was corrupted by pride. The story of Lucifer's fall is a profound lesson. For all of us, it teaches us about the insidious nature of pride, how it can blind us to the very source of our blessings, how it can turn gifts into weapons of self-destruction. It reminds us of the importance of humility, of obedience, of recognizing that all true light, all true power comes from the divine, and not from ourselves. It also affirms God's perfect love and justice. He gave warnings, he offered chances, but ultimately he respects the choices made, even when those choices lead to destruction. And even in this tragedy, God's plan unfolds. The existence of evil, though painful, serves a purpose. It allows for the ultimate triumph of good. It provides the contrast against which the boundless love and light of God can shine even brighter. It allows us, as humans, to make our own choices. To choose love over hate, obedience over rebellion. Light over darkness, and to truly appreciate the gift of salvation offered through Christ. So, dear ones, as you reflect on Lucifer's story, remember your own heart, guard it against pride, cultivate humility. And always remember the source of all light. For in him is true beauty, true wisdom, and eternal peace. May this profound truth guide you and strengthen you on your own journey toward the boundless light. Thank you for listening, and may you walk in grace. Always.